Hi, everyone. Chip Paul for Chip Talks Podcast. We're going to start a new thing, kind of a daily brief. So, we're just going to talk about kind of hot topics or stuff I'm working on. I've got an upcoming show. This is Autism Week. So, we're going to talk, or Autism Month. So, we're going to talk some about autism this month. So, we're going to kind of roll all that up into a daily show and we'll just talk about things every day. Um, we will talk about human function. We'll talk about the endocannabinoid system, stuff like that. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is I'm going to be on a show tomorrow that is an autism show. It's a national show, or it's actually a world show that's on Mike Adams' Health Rangers Network. And it's a lady named Carrie Rivera, and Carrie studies autism, but we're gonna talk about autism. And I've been on her show, a couple of different times, 6 or 7, I think, different times to talk about autism. But I always kind of get on there when we've got something new to talk about. So since this is Autism Month, and since I do kind of have some new stuff to talk about, I'll talk to you guys about it a little bit today. We won't likely go into the in depth that we will tomorrow. But what I want to talk to you about is really how things like bacteria or funguses or viruses or parasites, but pathogens, all those guys are called pathogens if you roll them up into one term. But I want to talk to you about how pathogens can affect our health and how dramatic this can be. And certainly it's looking like now autism, could be, let's say, related to some conformational changes that happen in the gut biome. So why is this important? Why does it matter? Well, when you look at human disease is just really a list of symptoms. Oh, I have RA. That's a symptom. Oh, I have, I had a heart attack. That's a symptom. Oh, my kidneys are failing. That's a symptom. Symptom. Oh, I'm obese. That's a symptom. Oh, I'm, have leaky gut syndrome or IBS. Symptom. I have ulcers. Well, guess what? You have H. pylori. So those are all symptoms, right? And what we try to do in our, let's say, ecosystem. And so what is our ecosystem? We have a clinic where we help people, and you can find that at Neighborly Wellness. So neighborlywellness.com is our clinic. And then we have a supplement company where we sell, let's say, elevated supplements that are based on all this science that I'm talking to you guys about. And that's called True Medics. So again, you can peruse True Medics, and we'll be talking a lot about True Medics solutions to things. And we'll be talking a lot about come see us at Neighborly Wellness and get a bioresonance or thermal imaging so we can figure out what is potentially the cause of what's going on with you. So tools like thermal imaging and bioresonance help us get to the bottom of what type of pathogen, you may be afflicted with. And that's important. You don't treat hook, round, and pinworms in the same way that you would treat H. pylori or this situation that I'm going to talk to you about that is likely. Okay. So let me kind of walk you through this, what happens. All right. So a couple of things will cause conformational changes in our gut biome, meaning, these bacteria that are in our gut biome are somewhat balanced. So it's, they will kind of, try to override each other in certain cases. They all want to win. They all want to be the boss. They all want to kind of be the king, right? So, but they're in kind of a balance generally in our biome. And by the way, I'm not convinced of the need to have a biome. I think the biome is there as an offset to bad diet, to bad nutrition, because we just don't really understand enough yet about what we need to eat and how we need to eat. I'm getting there. So I've done lots of videos. Go look at Chip Talks podcast. You'll find lots of videos on what and how to eat, dietary fats and amino acids. But again, lots of things can cause a disbalance, let's say, in your gut biome. Just eating more omega-6s versus omega-3s will cause a conformational change in your gut biome. So the gut biome is super important to how we function right now because it's the makeup system, let's say, for stuff that we don't know that we need in our diet yet. So we need a biome to help us offset nutritional deficiencies. Now, in autism, we all know this. So every researcher here knows that in the autistic gut biome, it is whack. I mean, it's messed up. And the reason for that is that because of how you work. And autistic people, because of kind of the, let's say, the pathology of autism and kind of what goes on in autism, they, first of all, they don't eat a lot of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. They'll eat omega-6 fatty acids, but autistic people don't really crave omega-3 fatty acids. You don't see a lot of autistic people going out and craving walnuts or chia seeds or things like that. You see them craving corn chips and sweet things, right? And there's reasons for that. But anyway, where they're somewhat, let's say, dysregulated is at an enzyme called delta-6 desaturase. And delta-6 desaturase will fit and start in autism. But if you don't have delta-6 desaturase, you can't break down omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are what help you build an immune system. So O3s will help you deflame and O6s will help you inflame. And you need to do both of those in order to have an immune response, okay? So, and again, right now we're way O6 heavy. But in autism, this enzyme that you need to be able to break these down is messed up. It fits and starts. And so they don't deal with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in the same way that we do. How do you fix this? Stimulate it with omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, and really omega-3 fatty acids are what's needed. So you can turn this back on, let's say, for pretty much anyone. This enzyme can't break in you, you'd be dead. But so you can turn this back on, but there's reasons why it's kind of hijacked in this whole pathology, but it's kind of off in them. And so what happens is they can't build the immune mediators that most of us do. So they have to build immune mediators in their gut biome. And that's why it's whacked out. That's why it looks different, because they're having to offset, nutritional deficiencies or this enzyme deficiencies through their biome. So their biome all looks weird and crazy. But there's commonality in almost every autism biome, and that's a breakdown of Clostridia bacteria, okay? And I mean an overgrowth, really. And these bacteria, Clostria, or I never can say it right, but Clostria, I have it literally written down how to pronounce. Clostridia, there we go, Clostridia bacteria, Closridia, I believe. So Clostridia bacteria, but Clostridium is what the type of bacteria that they make. But this bacteria has a tendency to be overgrown in autistic people and also in neurodegenerative type people. And that's highly interesting. There's a strain of this called difficult, which is interesting and causes a lot of other problems. So this Clostridia strain of bacteria can be a bad guy. He can be part of your normal biome and he can absolutely, balance you and everything. But he produces some things that, let's say, kind of are a tell, in an autism pathological profile. So he's looking to be causal. Now, here's an interesting thing that happens. So if I give you, let's say, NSAIDs, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, if I give you acetaminophen, paracetamol, Tylenol, or if I expose you to Roundup. Okay, so those interesting three things, and those are all, I think all you autism mamas out there will go, oh, those are all tightly tied to autism. And they are all tightly tied to autism. They all cause conformational changes in the gut biome, which favor these Clostridia bacteria. So isn't that interesting? So we're getting closer on autism, boys and girls. And are there things that you can do to, let's say, rewrite disbalanced biome? Yeah. So absolutely. So again, fiber in a fermenter, but that's a little bit difficult to get an autistic kiddo to eat. So there's dietary changes, that can be used to intervene. There's a whole discussion to be had around, let's say, this new data. The other thing that's interesting is vaccines can also cause conformational changes in the gut biome. So they could, disrupt this balance and cause a situation where these bacteria would be favored. So I thought that was really interesting as I'm reading about it. Been also reading about teeth lately. So we may do tomorrow, you may hear about teeth, even though it's Autism Month. Go out. So autism wise, if you do have an autistic situation, we do have product now. So we have a product called Focus. Again, it doesn't have this new, let's say, intelligence in it about these bacteria, but it certainly has a lot of our intelligence in it about what happens to mitochondria and how mitochondria are dysregulated, and they all are in autism, or at least the neurologically important ones are dysregulated, in the neurological function. So, and there's ways that we can rewrite that dysregulation. It's by no means, is it we're going to cure autism. It doesn't work that way. Autism is kind of like we all are born, let's say, like a mobile, a baby mobile. So we have, this ability to change and shift, depending on environment, disease states. And so, our mobile is good and adaptive. In autism, right off the bat, that thing gets pulled down to a new level, and it finds a new level, right? And there's ways that we can kind of improve, let's say, that new level. But getting that mobile up to kind of where it should be and where it normally is still a mystery. I mean, we're still understanding and learning about things like these clostridial bacteria, and their impact and how they could be causal, in something like autism. But autism is no doubt, it's a hijack. So it's something is causing that hijack, and something is pulling down function and causing kind of autistic people to function in a way that favors whatever that pathogen is or that situation is. And that's the definition of autism. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow with another, hopefully not so lengthy. So we'll hopefully keep these daily ones down a little bit, but this one went a little over. So there you go. It was the first one. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow for another daily update of Chip Talks. Bye.